Everybody, Connor and Shane, bringing you guys yet another video. Going to talk about safety in Web3, just as a whole, as just everything in Web3. I want people to be very safe when it comes to their investing. When it comes to just whether it's watching YouTubers and watching people talk about projects, to actually doing the research yourself and learning some things on how to look at a project and get a better sense for if it's going to be a rug pull, if it might be a scam, or if it is something that's going to be legit. So there's some things that I want to bring up just in general, talking about, just investing while, I guess calling myself a YouTuber, which, I feel like it's kind of weird to say because I started a couple months ago, getting literally 10 views, just throwing my thoughts on here. But so a major thing that I want people to understand is that crypto is a risk no matter what. There is always going to be a lot of things that happen, even with some major projects, whether it's FUD, whether it's some BS, like some BS with the team going on, to even with micro caps. So, a lot of times teams are fairly new, teams aren't doxed, things like that. A lot of shit happens with a team. Sometimes one team member, the developer, runs off with the funds and they leave the other team members there there's a lot of different things. Bottom line is what I'm getting at. That can happen with these micro caps, and it's very hard to know and to pinpoint which projects are going to be good versus bad. So here I'm going to give you guys some tips too on how to look for good ones, how to look for bad ones, and a new tool that I've discovered that actually someone on Twitter just tagged me in and told me about it literally yesterday. Because bottom line, so, in my paid group here on Patreon, we've had a lot of good calls, but recently we had one. This is my first rug that I've actually called. And this was, actually it's not even on here. So the ticker was Vault. So the website was oxvault.xyz. This project was going to be a mixer, as in like an anonymous mixer if you're familiar with Tornado Cash. And with this, this utility itself is kind of, it can be good and bad. And people have their own opinions on, whether all transactions should be anonymous, things like that. But anyways, I saw this project the other day. It looked very strong, looked solid in my opinion, because Tornado Cash had insane valuation before. Eventually, it did what it did. But so I called this in my Discord and it did rug, unfortunately. This was, again, the first one. But, after looking back as like when I was researching why I got into it, there are a lot of different things that I personally could have done more as far as doing the research to look into these projects, because, I feel for everyone, including myself, that have lost money on rug pulls, and, this one specifically that happened. And, it's part of the game. It's part of crypto, but it hurts. Like I feel for people, and I'm sorry for calling that to people and telling you guys that, this project could become something, but it didn't. But again, it's part of the game, and this is why I'm making this video, because obviously from here on out, my due diligence is going to get a lot stronger. And I also want to give you guys some advice when it comes to actually investing off of watching YouTubers and stuff like that, like I said a few minutes ago. But so the first thing, like I said, when it comes to investing in microcaps, no matter what the project is, whether, if I talk about it or someone else talks about it, one of the main things is that I want you guys to not ape your entire life savings into one coin called by me or a YouTuber. That is so important, and I have preached this for so many different videos in my past, and I will continue to preach this because, again, investing in these coins is always going to be a risk, and I don't want people to lose their shirt, from like one, iffy call, or just one coin that just happens to, some shit happens that no one expected, Like if you have a portfolio of a good amount of money, like a lot of times your investment into microcaps should be very, very small. Because I know for me personally, when I'm investing in microcaps, I'm not throwing more than, maximum like a couple thousand, if not a lot less, even sometimes a couple hundred, depending on the market cap. Certain coins you don't need to risk that much money in order to make absolutely insane gains if the utility is there, if that makes sense. Because when you got small portfolios or if you have big portfolios, it's always so safe for you to risk very little on microcaps. Because again, if you get into a coin under $1 million in market cap, it'll do a 3, 5, 10, 20x, before people start really putting it on their radar, which is already going to give you a significant amount of exposure in that coin. So when this bull run keeps continuing on, when it's at 10, 20, 30 million in market cap now, that's going to be a solid coin that newer people are looking into now. And this is why I look for these projects so low at the bottom, so you don't have to risk a crazy amount inside these projects to then make a crazy amount of money, like long term. Because again, my strategy is long term. But to wrap that up, to keep it short here, just play it very safe and do not overexpose yourself into these like micro caps. And especially not even me. When it comes to any sort of YouTuber, any like people promoting a coin, a lot of times you don't know if they're getting paid to promote it. You don't know if the people or their team, whatever, are all buying the coin and they want you to like buy it so it'll pump. There could be various different reasons for that. And again, play it safe, play it smart. And I want you guys to keep that in mind when you're investing. And don't just trust someone's word, and please do your own research too. The other thing I want to talk about too is a couple factors that I personally look at and look into when it comes to many projects as far as safety. And the first one I'm going to talk about is a docs team. This is not necessarily the most important thing by any means, but when you have a docs team, that are, whether they're on Twitter Spaces sometimes, or they have their own YouTube channel and their face is always talking about the project, whether the good and bad, or they got interviews out, that's always a great sign to show that, the team is actually here. They're promoting themselves basically because they believe in their business, in their company. They're not trying to just scam something because they're out. Everyone knows their face. If something happens, like it's always going to trace back to that person or that team. So a docs team is actually something very strong to look for in any sort of project, especially in microcaps. Like I said, that's a very, very bullish factor in my opinion that I look for. Although again, like I said, a lot of coins, that's not going to be a make or break factor. A second thing that I want to bring up too, which I feel like I haven't done my due diligence too deeply, but from here on out I want to do a lot more, is checking contracts and looking at every single function that contracts have. So you don't have to go too deep into a contract sometimes, because I want to show you guys a tool that I've been using on and off here and there that actually analyzes contracts for you. And so you guys have probably heard about this tool. It's called D.Fi. So this is like a brand new crypto project that actually launched. And no, I'm not paid to talk about this project or whatever. There are rumors going around. They were getting paid, or other YouTubers were getting paid to talk about this. Like, no. I just found this tool to be a very, very strong tool that I actually want to start using a lot. Because this is actually something, because I personally go through contracts on Etherscan and I'll look at certain things from holder count, like which holders have the most money and what percent of ownership, to, every little detail that certain contracts have. I'll go into that when I get time and check it out and do this. But what this tool here does is it actually scans your contracts and, it gives it like a total score. So let's go to CoinGecko here. I'm just going to give you guys just like a rough idea. Like, let's just do Solana. Or maybe not, actually. Let's do Ethereum here. Okay, so they don't have the contract address just there. Let's do render. So yeah, like I said, this is a great tool to use because, like I said, I think one of the most important things to look for, admin, I don't know what that means, but yeah, I think, like I said, like finding a good team, if necessary, if applicable for certain projects, if you find a team, you see that, that's always a great sign. Because you know that these people are more than likely you're going to be legitimate. You know what they're doing. Their faces are out. And this is the other thing, which is this tool I use. It's literally d.fi online, and it's just their scanner here. So it generates you a score when it comes to coins with like low to no risks. And so render here has an 100 out of 100. Dump risks doesn't have any risks like that, and it'll show you certain issues that certain tokens might have, whether it's whether there's one or two holders that hold more than a portion of the supply. It'll give you like an error here and certain things like that. And I should have actually brought this tool up in past videos, but I think this is so important in the crypto space, is the safety, especially dealing with micro caps. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, look at my face right there. But yeah, I think safety to me personally is so important because, like I have you guys watching me. I'm not just investing for myself. So it's like if I lose, you guys are losing too. And that is like the worst feeling. Like I don't want people to just lose out of nowhere, mainly because of like little mistakes that, that could have been avoided, bottom line, So this is a great tool that I want you guys to use. I will be using this a lot more often, probably in videos too. But just wanted to get that out there, because, things happen. It's part of crypto. That's the game, like the name of the game. There's always going to be rugs, always going to be fake teams and some BS going on. But part of the game is weaving through those. Like I always keep in my mind is that if you have say you have 10 projects, by default, like say 10 micro caps, by default mentally, I'm already knocking 2 out of there and claiming mentally in my head saying, okay, at least 2 of these are going to rug, like worst case. And that's something that I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I want to call 2 rugs out of 10, like nothing like that, but that's what I keep in my head because it is always a risk to be investing in coins. Like I said, 10 times now, as far as this video, like this really I just feel like this is so important to talk about because a lot of people, again, you guys just watch certain videos and, sometimes you just ape into coins and I get it. Like I was there. I always do shit like that, or I always used to do stuff like that, which is totally fine. But just be very safe and understand the risks that come with, investing, especially into these micro caps. Because it's like I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice to be buying. Every time I talk about a coin, even coins that I talk about, I usually will give you guys a solid entry as well. Most of the time, especially if they're projects that have pumped, I will tell you right off the bat, like, yo, this is pumped like crazy. Do not buy it yet. Wait for a dip, if anything, to get in. Because that's based on my own strategy too. But anyways, I could probably keep rambling on for 10, 20 minutes about this stuff. But like, I really want anyone and everyone who's following me, if you're part of the Patreon, again, I'm sorry that rug has happened and I want to do more due diligence next time. But I just want everyone who's watching me to be as safe as possible. And from here on out, it's going to be better. It's all learning experiences too. But, that's all I got for you guys. So I appreciate you guys for listening and being here. Like I want this to be my career. It means everything to me to basically make you guys money, make you guys profitable and successful. So when shit like this happens, this is like the worst thing that can happen to me, So from here, yeah, it's gonna be different from here on out. So I appreciate everyone here, and I'll see you guys in the next video.